It is Cowboys versus Giants week, and you should know what that means. We're going to troll our Giants now host Marshall Green. Everyone type F Marshy in the comment section of today's show. Whoever comments the most is going to get a free raffle entry into our giveaway during our watch party during the game on Thursday. So flood the comment section, type in F Marshy right now. Thursday night football, a tight turnaround with the game going on later tonight. An 8:15 p.m. Eastern kick on Amazon Prime. The line has moved, at least as of filming this, by the way. It'll probably fluctuate a little bit too. It is now Cowboys minus 5.5. It's gone up a point since we did our preview on Tuesday. So maybe it's the cornerback injuries for New York. Maybe it was money coming in. I don't fully know. We'll get to the injury stuff here in a second. But the line has shifted to be a bigger spread in favor of the Cowboys. 5 players on the final injury reports. We mentioned Caelen, Carson, and Markquese Bell on Wednesday afternoon show. Go check it out if you haven't already for more on that. Carson and Bell are both doubtful. I doubt they are going to play. Adoree Jackson, Drew Phillips are already ruled out. Darius Slayton is questionable. I would guess he plays. But on the Cowboys side, probably means either Andru Booth or Israel Mukuamu are in and getting a start, which is concerning. Given you're already down Deron Bland. I had harbored hopes of, let's play Markquese Bell more instead of Donovan Wilson. Well, I can't, because now Bell's out, or he's doubtful. I'd be shocked if he played tonight. So hopefully, Hooker and Wilson play better, or my curse of not having good enough safety play in Dallas continues. Secondary-wise for the Giants, Drew Phillips, the rookie out of Kentucky, been playing pretty well. He got hurt early last week, did not return. Adoree Jackson was their veteran depth. Nick McLeod should be back. So my guess here is the safeties are fine. They're pretty good. Isaiah Simmons is their backup nickel. He played a lot last week. He's still not very good in coverage against actual slot receivers because no one is sure how to use him properly, apparently. Deonte Banks might travel, or it could be Isaiah Simmons, or Nick McLeod, or Cordero Flott, or Trey Hawkins. They still put a third corner out there. Who's in the nickel? I don't know. But that brings us to my number one matchup to watch in this game. That is CeeDee Lamb against the Giants slot receiver. Lamb's slot percentage dipped down to 41.9% this past week. He is averaging small sample size, 2 full yards less per route run from the slot this season. He's caught just 45.5 targets in the slot after catching 70, almost 71% last season. I need better play. I need better results. I need better throws. I need better scheme. I need better everything as it relates right now to CeeDee Lamb. A player who historically has torched the New York Football Giants. That's going to be a phrase I say a lot. There's a lot of Cowboys players that have had a lot of success against the Giants. That tends to happen when you've won 12 straight games against one team with a healthy quarterback, by the way. 74 targets, 52 catches, 722 yards, only 3 scores, but Lamb has always had success against the Giants. That has to continue in this one. So who you got winning? C for the Cowboys, G for the G-Men. If you need some more time to go vote on that or to spam F Marshy, take advantage of the upcoming ad and go vote in the pinned comment. Number 2 matchup to watch. The defense against outside runs. This is going to remain a talking point for me until the Cowboys defense does something about it. Devin Singletary this year has been a pretty darn good runner. He's averaging 4.7 yards per carry. The success rate is low because it's been a little bit of feast or famine for the Giants and their secondary. He's had some big plays. He's had some good runs. His average is good. It is very much that bell curve is spread out. It is. There's not a lot of just normal 4 or 5 yard runs. There's been a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage. The Giants' offensive line has not done a good job of blocking. There is a chance for the Cowboys' lowest stuff rate in football to get up a little bit. Now, the Giants don't run a lot on the outside. When they do, it's been good. That is not their schematic. So you might have a situation where maybe Brian Daboll doesn't get it together and just does a bad job. When they've run the ball outside, it's had some success. But there's been a couple big runs in there and some poor gains mixed in there on top of that. They haven't run it much to the outside. I will say, got to be alert for the Daniel Jones outside run stuff. Next-gen stats metric here. 5th most designed quarterback runs this season. That's 9. 4th most yards, and the Cowboys have allowed more yards to design quarterback rushes than anyone else in football. Guess where the quarterback's going to run? He's going to run to the outside. Number 3 matchup to watch, the Dallas offensive line against the Giants front. This is probably the best strength of a unit on this Giants team is their pass rush and their front ability and all that good stuff there. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, all critically important stuff to have to play better on that front. Keep an eye out for Dexter Lawrence. Keep an eye out for Brian Burns. Both those players are immensely talented. They are a little bit top-heavy. I don't love the depth necessarily, but Kayvon Thibodeau's an awesome player as well. They have third option Azeez Ojulari. I think their DT room is a bit thin beyond Dexter Lawrence, but your interior line was not great last week. The tackles are going to be put to the test this week. Give me your score prediction of the Cowboys against the Giants. I assume you have the Cowboys winning, but maybe not. The vibes are bad, as we'll get into in a little bit here. Give me your score prediction in the comments of today's show. Number 4, matchup to watch. Hey, it's our old buddy Motion that the Cowboys don't use properly, and the Giants love using with one player in particular. That is Malik Nabers. He has 31 total motion snaps this season. He has 17 snaps with motion at the snap. He's got 12 targets there, 9 catches, and 134 yards, which leads the NFL. Has Dallas fixed their inability to not get confused with their eyes against motion? If not, do you guys remember that one Odell Beckham game where he made the great catch, but the Cowboys actually won the game despite Odell Beckham going off and the defense not playing great? I get those vibes going into this one. That's the vibe I get. I am nervous. Nabers scares me. He's an incredibly talented football player. I still don't believe in Daniel Jones, but Cowboys are bad right now. We will be live for this game. Make sure you guys tune in and subscribe. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV, live an hour and a half before kickoff. Number 5 matchup to watch. It's the Cowboys against themselves. Can you not be classic Cowboys? Can you? It's the one meme. Can you just be normal? Like, the vibes are bad right now. I don't think that's me, projecting. Your team leaders have called out players for not having attention to detail, not being professional, not doing their jobs, trying to play hero ball, not being locked in. It's not bad. That's not good. It's bad. Mike McCarthy got all bent out of shape over a very valid question and kind of got all pissy with a reporter. And when that stuff is happening, he's feeling the pressure. The locker room feels it. There's like 5 guys under contract that aren't on their first deals. When you don't feel supported by your front office and your ownership, and then you start maybe not playing great, it snowballs real quick. It can turn ugly fast. Cowboys have to find a way to avoid that and get back on the right track with a win in this one. So let's talk 5 players to watch then. Number 5, it is DeMarcus Lawrence. He has always been, pun intended, a giant killer. And that is what I'm hoping to see again. The last 13 games he has played against the Giants, he has 41 tackles, 13 TFLs, and 12 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. DeMarcus Lawrence is at his best against the Giants. He loves playing this team. He gets to go against, it's not Evan Neal this week. It's probably going to be Jermaine Illuminor, some Andru Thomas too. This is a game, I think he'll have a nice showing out of Tank Lawrence. He'll have an early tackle for loss probably against run because he always does a good job of that. And I think he has a nice game. And hopefully the other defensive pieces around him, which we'll get into some notable names, show up as well. Now, hopefully, it's probably not going to be, but I love a blowout with the defense dominating and I get to bust out the turnover chain. Get an early lead, put your defense where they can actually play football and not get killed. I'm speaking into existence this week by reminding you, you can get your own Cowboys turnover chain over at chatsports.com/Cowboys chain. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Number 4 player to watch, Rico Dowdle. Now, doesn't sound like you're going to see Dalvin Cook. I do wonder if this is part of the, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to, make our changes on a longer week than a short-term week. It has not been very good. I want to emphasize that. But your best runner by a pretty good margin has been Rico Dowdle. The bar is not very high, by the way. Overall, it's still been pretty mediocre. Do you know, though, again, it's a very small sample size, and one bad play could ruin it all. But do you know where Rico Dowdle's had the most success this season? Oh, look, it's outside runs. Wow, it's almost like sometimes the eye test and the metrics line up the way that they're supposed to. Now, it's a very small sample size. It's not like 4.4 yards per carry is suddenly elite. But I have a running back, and Dowdle, I think, does his best stuff on outside zone. I would love duo. I'm not getting hopes up for a bunch of duo. It's all inside zone stuff. Tight zone, as I call it. You have a running back who's better on the outside, and a run defense in New York that is better against the inside. That seems noteworthy. The Giants' success rate on defense against the run. They are 11th against stopping inside runs and 24th against stopping outside runs. Do you know what I would do? I'd call the outside zone plays. I called the stretch plays. I'd run some counters for one damn time. I'd run a toss play. That's what I would do. Numbers back it up. Who scores first? The first TD, I should say, against the Giants. Hopefully it's not in the fourth quarter. That's a conversation we'll have here. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Number 3, Osa Odighizuwa, the defensive tackle. Last year, he kind of flashed some giant killer stuff like he'd learned from Tank Lawrence there. But I got to see more here. You know, 1 TFL in 3 games is not great, and there's been a lot more him getting pushed off the line than anything else. Giants offensive linemen have allowed their rushers to be contacted behind the line of scrimmage 46% of the time, almost 47% of the time. That's bad. So, in theory, your interior linemen make a nice game for themselves, or at least free up your linebackers better. I need Osa to show up. Number 2, Donovan Wilson. Hey, look, Dono, I like you. You've made some great plays over the years. You don't play better, people are going to be calling for you to get benched. I still suspect that some of those comments made by Micah, made by Tank Lawrence, they were partially for against Donovan Wilson. You have to be gap sound on outside runs. You can and counters. You cannot crash 2 gaps over the wrong way and wonder why you allowed a 29-yard gain. There's that one play that stands out to me. Mozzie, they're in heavy personnel. Donovan Wilson's basically playing a linebacker role. That's fine. Micah Smith takes on a double team, gets pushed back further than you would like. That is Donovan Wilson's gap. There is a hole there. But Donovan Wilson jumps 2 gaps over, takes himself out of the play, and Derrick Henry cuts it back for a huge gain. That never would have happened. Donovan Wilson didn't leave his assignment. That stuff has to be ironed out. We're too far into the year. It's week 3. Stop. You have to be better. That goes for linebackers like DeMarvin Overshown too, but I'll mention Wilson here first. Number 1 player to watch is Dak Prescott. And what I'm about to say, it's not really fair. You know, this Cowboys team can't win games with the way the run defense is fared. However, still need better play from Dak Prescott. It's not like he's been perfect. You saw it against the Ravens game, right? He wasn't that great for 3 quarters and then got going in the 4th quarter. Now, I do think a big part of that whole conversation is the fact that, hey, suddenly your linemen started to not get smoked and you push the ball with more tempo. I don't think the supporting cast has done a good job. I need vintage Dak against the Giants in this game. That is how I am going to be competitive. If I can't stop the run, if I can't run the football, I have to have Herculean efforts out of my quarterback. That's not fair. But that is the only way, with the way they're playing right now, I am going to be competitive. And if I get to take my foot off the gas in the 3rd quarter, great, happy to do it. But I need this version of Dak, who's won 12 straight games against the Giants, who completes 67% of his passes in that time frame. I need the guy that has owned the NFC East. That's a team stat right there. But if I get a great game from Dak, I feel I at least got a chance to win, even if the defense doesn't necessarily hold up its end of the bargain consistently. But look, the Giants are not a great team. Embrace this. Embrace the allegations. Just be the team that beats up on bad teams. Then we can focus beyond that after the game.